Welcome to this space where love is true. Open hearts and minds, there's a place for you. Gather round together, let your spirit play. In this community, we'll find our way. Every soul a story, a journey to unfold, seeking out the wisdom, the truths of new and old. We release our fears, let the light shine bright. In the warmth of our spirit, we ignite the night. Arise, arise, through awareness we will grow, taking responsibility for what's mine, opens up the flow. Inspire living happens from the inside out, knowing spirit is all, washes away any doubt. Everyone evolves in their own perfect way. Let us hold hands as we proclaim. Arise. Steps of faith we take with courage in our hearts. Every voice a chorus, every smile a part. From every corner of our city we come anew, with open arms and spirits to embrace what's true. Feel the energy rising, the joy in the air, as we sing our song of love. Let go of despair. Here at the center, there is a seat just for you. Sharing in the laughter while we co-create the new. Rise, arise, through awareness we will grow, taking responsibility for what's mine, opens up the flow. Inspire living happens from the inside out, knowing spirit is all, washes away any doubt. Everyone evolves in their own perfect way. Let us hold hands as we proclaim. Arise. Together we explore the realms of the divine, unfolding to our potential, weaving hearts sublime. Every journey matters, every truth we share. We lift each other higher, showing how we care. So hold on to the vision, let your bliss lead the way. Live every single moment, let love fill your day. As we rise up together, a symphony of grace. Find the light within us, in the sacred space. So come one, come all, to this place of peace. In our unity, may your worries cease. With open hearts and open minds, let's embrace the call. Within the Center for Spiritual Living, there's a place for us all. Arise, arise, let spirit be your guide. Welcome to your spiritual home. It's so great to be alive. Arise.
Welcome, friends. We are the Centers for Spiritual Living, based out of St. George, Utah. And my name is Bill Smith, and I'll be your tour guide this morning. And just wanted to welcome you to our Sunday celebration. Today being July 5th, I guess I probably shouldn't have to remind anybody that yesterday was the 4th of July and our independence celebration, our 250th, which is a kind of a big one. Um, I still remember the 200th and thought that was a pretty cool deal. But kind of giving away my age now. But one of the things that occurred to me yesterday, amongst all the cookouts and fireworks and flybys by fighter jets, all cool stuff, by the way, was that I am so grateful that I am in this country, and grateful in this country that in our founding documentation documents allows me the freedom to choose what religion I choose to live by. And I think that, and I was thinking yesterday, if we had a state-sponsored religion that came from the Queen or King of England, it would probably not be the science of mind. And so I am so grateful that I'm able to exercise that option. And I hope that, and I'm also grateful that I exercise a philosophy called science of mind that makes it hard for me to take that for granted. But anyway, that's just my musings for the moment. I'm not doing today's talk. Reverend Joe is, and so we'll move it right along. Here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, we practice it's almost like a mantra called Arise. And it starts with the A. Arise is awareness, just awareness of yourself and your surroundings and what is real. Radical responsibility. So taking responsibility for every aspect of your life, and the radical part, makes it so that there aren't little responsibilities you can leave out. You have to do it all. Inside out living. We don't gain anything from going out and searching outside of us. So it's important that we understand that all living, all learning comes from inside. Spirit is all there is, and that is what is inside of all of us. And spirit is everywhere. And in fact, there's nowhere that spirit is not. And everyone is evolving. So that allows us to take a hard look at ourselves without beating ourselves up and say, let's just move forward from here. So that's what Arise is all about. Great for problem solving and for finding ways to continually spiral upward. Our vision is that we are a community-focused center, actively living, sharing, and nurturing our members and friends so that all may live their best lives. Our mission, and how we achieve that vision, is that we are an open, inclusive, and evolving spiritual community that supports its purpose and vision through the following: sacred wisdom celebrations, empowering transformative education, youth and young adult programs, dynamic music ministry, community inreach, and community outreach. We've got a great team put together today. We have Tony Kovach is our tech, and she is making sure that everything happens smoothly, regardless of how the rest of us try to mess it up. Alan Stanley is going to do our music for us, and he does our music quite often and does a great job with it. I know today will be no exception. I'm your host, but we've already met. And Reverend Rachel Dilling. So we have two ministers here today. Reverend Rachel is going to be doing both our invocation and a reading, not necessarily in that order. And Reverend Joe Kovach will be doing our talk today, and I'm looking forward to see what he has to say about no bad parts. And as we open up our July with a new theme, we're looking at wholeness, and wholeness no matter what. So I'm looking forward to Reverend Joe's talk today. Just a couple announcements. before we get going, there will be a Zoom conversation today at noon. If you need information, just jump on our website, and the link is there. And look forward to a good conversation with Reverend Joe this afternoon, at noon. Our next in-person service is next weekend, a week from today, July 12th. Who I am reflects how I am. And you can get details in the newsletter again. But look forward to seeing you there. We have 3 very active, very capable, very wise practitioners, and I'm including myself in that group, that wiseness group. I know that each and every one of us, of the 3 of us, are open, willing, and able to help you with anything that you might want to talk about. So you can jump on the website and reach any of us when we're not in service, but certainly when we're in service. And I will be there next Sunday. If you want to pull me aside for prayer, any of the 3 of us would be happy to help you in that way. And also, speaking of next week, while we're in service, we do have I want to say little bookstore, because it's really only one table, but it is getting so big. We're going to need a second table pretty soon. But there's quite a collection of spiritual books, and it's kind of a find what you like, donate what you like, buy something, check it out. We have a pretty open policy on it, but I think I'm pretty proud of that little bookstore. It has a lot of cool stuff in it. All right, and I want to do a shout out to Tim. Tim is one of our core council members, and he has been working very hard on putting together our community events calendar. And July is no exception. He's got a lot of great stuff. Looking at all the things that are happening in St. George over the next month, and I'm not going to run through all of them, but there's some cool stuff. So I encourage you to jump on the website, take a closer look at some of the dates and things, and find something. Grab somebody else from CSL and say, hey, do you want to go to this, or do you want to go to that, and make an outing of it. I think we've got Alan going to play some music for us. And in fact, I think Tony's putting that up for me to sing. No, Alan's here. Okay, good. So
I believe I'll sing a few songs here.
I appreciate that, Alan.
Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I like the thing about the practitioners. You're wise. So it's a wise guy. Anyway, so much for my musing. This little song is by Amanda Marshall. I've really liked it. You're welcome to sing along. Actually, I could use your help. Somewhere there's a river looking for a stream. Somewhere there's a dreamer looking for a dream. Somewhere there's a drifter trying to find his way. Somewhere someone's waiting to hear somebody say, I believe in you. I can't even count the ways that I believe I want to do is help you to believe in you. Somewhere someone's reaching, trying to grab that dream. Somewhere there's a silent voice, learning how to sing. Some of us can't move ahead, we're paralyzed with fear. And everybody's listening, but we all need to hear. I believe in you. I can't even count the ways that I believe in you. And all I want to do is help you to believe in you. I will hold you up, I will help you stand, I will comfort you when you need a friend. I'll be the voice that's calling out. I believe in you. All there is so many ways that I believe in you. Oh, what else can I do but believe in you? All I want to know is that you believe in you. Believe in you. Now I believe we're going to bring in Reverend Rachel.
Well, Alan, I believe in you, without a doubt.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sitting in the back just singing along. I believe in you. So today I'm doing the reading and the invocation. So let's start with our reading, which is from Mepo Mark, the Book of Awakening. Having the life you want by being present to the life you have, pages 11 and 12. So we are born with only one obligation, to be completely who we are. Yet how much of our time is spent comparing ourselves to others, dead and alive? This is encouraged by as necessary in the pursuit of excellence. Yet a flower is not in its excellence, does not yearn to be a fish, and a fish in its elegance does not long to be a tiger. But we humans find ourselves always falling into a dream of another life. Yet when we compare ourselves to others, we only experience the tension of comparing, as if there is only 1 ounce of being to feed all our hungers. But the universe reveals its abundance most clearly when we can be who we are. Mysteriously, every weed and ant and every living creature has a unique autonomy of being, which, when given over to, is more than enough. Being human, though, we are often troubled and blocked by insecurities. The windedness of heart that makes us feel unworthy. And when winded and troubled, we sometimes feel compelled to puff ourselves up. From in our pain, it seems to make sense that if we were larger, we would be further from our pain. Then, not surprising, others need to be made smaller so we can maintain our illusion of seeming bigger than our pain. Of course, history is the humbling story of our misbegotten inflations, and truth is the corrective story of how we embrace each other and forgive ourselves for not accepting our beautiful, particular place in the fabric of all there is. Isn't that lovely? So if you'll take a breath with me, let's do our invocation for the day. And release and become grounded right here and right now. Feel yourself. Feel your body touching the chair. Feel your skin against your clothes, being really present. And allow my words to be your words as I speak in first person. I know that God is all there is. I know that God is that universal energy that flows in and of and through all things right here and right now. That energy is a laugh. It is a cry. It is the grass. It is the sky. It is all that ever has been and ever will be. It is health and warmth and love. It is truth and discovery and growth. It is compassion. And knowing this is the truth, I know that I am of and from and in and as this universal energy that I call God. It is who and what I am, and therefore all that it is, I am. This perfect expression of God, of the universe. And in this perfect expression, I know that in this very moment, I am part of something so much more. I am so much more. So I declare in this moment that I am divinely guided, that this service, this celebration of coming togetherness is divinely guided, that the technicality, the technology, there we go, works as it is designed to work, that the words that are spoken are inspirational, the music moves us in our hearts. And as we move through today, we feel connected, and that feeds our soul. And for this all, I am so, so very grateful, knowing that I am whole, that I am complete, that as I am in this completion, that there is always more. For this, I am grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In this knowingness, in this gratitude, I release my word into the law, knowing it is done, done, done. And together we affirm by saying, and so it is. So it is. Thank you. And now, Alan, give us another song.
So it is. I've
So it is.
returned. Get the lyrics up here. You can sing along. The song is I Returned by David Alt, one of our movement, so to speak, writers. These shoes have worn through, and the dust that covers them gives a clue to where I've been. But now I return to a hope that nurtures me, and love has remedy from all the lies and doubts and the shame that seemed unending. Now I'm awakening. I stand and sing. I return to the source of my creation, opening to my place of transformation. Now I see love lives in me. of our oneness, flourishing, fearless, free, and fully conscious. Mightily I stand and sing. I have returned. Day after day, there are many paths to choose. Some we win and some we lose. Still all lead to one, where the hearts that tarry there believe in love beyond compare. Finally I trust your embrace and give thanks for the journey here. Yes, I'm awakening. I stand and sing. I return to the source of my creation, opening to my path of transformation. Now I see love lives in me. I return to the glory of our oneness, flourishing, fearless, free, and fully conscious. Mightily I stand and sing. I have returned. I return to the source of my creation, opening to my place of transformation. Now I see love lives in me. I return to the glory of our oneness, flourishing, fearless, free, and fully conscious. Mightily I stand and sing. I have returned. I have returned. I have returned.
Thank you, Alan. That's one of my favorites. Love that one. All right. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Reverend Joe Kovach with today's talk and message. Reverend Joe, you there? There you are.
Hello, Bill. How are you?
I am well. Enjoying
You're
this
doing
weekend.
a great job. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
And I'm just going to piggyback off of your the 50th when we celebrated. I remember it was 1976. I was 6, and we had these little Liberty bells that we bought, and the whole neighborhood came out on their porch. I think it was at noon, and rang the bells to celebrate our country.
That's right.
Like said, the freedom of what we stand for, whether we agree with the current politics, lay that aside. We are more free than everybody else in the world.
We are the greatest country in the world.
Do this, what we do now, because to share, like, we are an international organization, and we do have centers in China and in South America, but they don't operate with the same freedoms we do. So let's take that into
my understanding.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you to Alan for some wonderful song choices. I always appreciate your creativity, my friend. And we call these talks Sunday celebrations. And, I realize I haven't been really bringing that celebration energy all the time. And so I want to, and not just because yesterday was a big celebration for our country, but we don't celebrate ourselves enough. And that's kind of really what the talk title has to recognize, is we spend a lot of time on these parts of ourselves that are bad. And so I'm going to start off with a question I just want you to contemplate throughout today's celebration, which is, what my life, what would my life look like if I honored and loved all of my parts, even those I don't like? So just sit with that for a moment. All right. Contemplate that question, but I'm going to ask you another question. Have you ever said to yourself something like, I wish I just wasn't so outgoing all the time. I wish I could control my anger. I wish I feel so needy. I don't like that. Or why do I overthink everything? Or fill in the blank. I'm sure you have your own ideas. And then we say this with this idea that if we just got rid of that part of ourselves, that unwanted part of ourselves, that unloved part of ourselves, that we would feel better. We would feel happier. We would feel more whole. Right? I would say most of us who are listening have had these experiences. And the idea really is, in saying this, is, we feel as if we are not that perfect expression of the divine. And so by getting rid of these things, casting them out, that we would be more lovable. We would be this image that God, source, the universe, would say, yes, I'm proud of that. That's where we start, and with this flawed perception. Now, shifting this, because we're talking about wholeness, I want to share a quote with Ernest Holmes, and he says, our word does not restore wholeness, it reveals it. I want to say that again slower. Our word does not restore wholeness, it reveals it. So think about that, right? He's not saying that our word creates wholeness, or by speaking so much, then we earn this idea of wholeness. The idea is that our word reveals what is already there, what we would call spiritual truth, that we and everything is already whole, right? Reverend Rachel, in her prayer, there is one life. That life is God, source, Allah, fill in the blank. But it is that. It is not God's life and my life. No, that life is the expression of what we call God, or fill in the blank. And so this means that wholeness is what is. It's always there. It's always present. But are we recognizing ourselves and the world outside as being of that wholeness? So another quote I want to share with you early on from Holmes. He says, the road to self-discovery often calls for a clearing away of the underbrush. Salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. Now, read it a little bit. It could be confusing, but the idea here is that we're not fixing ourselves. There's nothing broken. What we're doing really is, when we feel healed or saved, is we're recognizing and uncovering the truth of our divine nature, that we are of the all, which is perfect, whole, and complete. But we're living this life in ways, and we get to do this freely, free will, that we can literally believe we are completely separate. We are horrible people. We should be shamed, and we take on all this, but that is not spiritual truth. Right? Now, how does this begin? Well, it begins when we're young. Right? We begin as children to pick up on things. How do I feel accepted is probably one of the biggest avenues that we get derailed on early in life. What do I mean? Well, for example, when we're young, a baby or a child will learn very quickly what actions and behaviors are acceptable and ones that aren't. So if I giggle and do whatever, mommy smiles. Oh, mommy loves that. I like that. She's nice back to me, so I feel accepted when I do that. Or if I realize every time I throw my food on the floor, daddy doesn't like that. He uses an angry tone with me. That makes me feel bad. So I have to change how I do things. And then even later on in life, that's just where it begins. Later on in life, and as a school counselor, I'm going to say middle school is a rough go. Worst 3 years of my life. And it's, especially there where we're trying to fit in and be accepted and wear the right clothes and have the right look and deal with the acne and puberty and all this stuff. And so what begins to happen is we don't feel accepted. We feel there's these bad parts that we have. And so we begin covering them up. We put on masks. And then it's not that we're becoming fake. But really what we're doing is we're adapting to the situation. I don't feel like I belong, so what can I do to feel like I belong? And this isn't wrong. This isn't bad. This is human nature, at least where we are right now in our evolution of human nature, right? Well, what happens is we put on these masks and we begin to think that we are those masks. So for every adaptation, it's like a new identity. And then that's who we think is the real me. Breathe that in for a moment, right? I don't remember if I have a quote. No. Okay. So I wanted to share this one with you. Holmes says the individuals, and we're going back to remember science of mind, and he's talking about the individual subconscious mind knows so much about ourselves that is contradictory to our truth spiritual nature. Now, what does that mean? We can call it the ego, whatever, but it learns. It learns from past happenings, past experiences. And so something bad happens, and in our subconscious mind, it creates a little rule. Oh, don't do that again. I need to protect you from doing that. Oh, remember when you did X and you got hurt? So we're gonna start creating these belief systems to protect ourselves. Remember your first crush? That hurt so bad when you got, dumped, got broken up with, they left you, they cheated on you, whatever it was. And then early on, we begin to put these masks on. I'm tougher. I have to be like this. When really, it's not so much of it's trying to dissuade us. It's saying, look, I love you. I want to protect you. That's all it's doing. Another way of looking at this, I was just thinking, is like every time we have a hurt or a trauma, it's like putting on a piece of armor. And I'm kind of taking this from Michael Singer's book in it, and the Untethered Soul. And he has an example similar to this. Great book, by the way, if you're trying to work through this idea of having bad parts. So just imagine, though, every, trauma, you begin to put on these pieces of armor. And eventually you're fully in armor, but then we've done it so long and we've done this so early in our lives that we believe we are this. And that's where we get stuck, because we're trying to actually change something that we're not. Can't do it. But one of the things we can change, we know in Science of Mind, is how we look at things, our beliefs, right? And so what if we simply began with this premise that there are no bad parts? Okay? There are parts that maybe are really tired and really worn out because it's this mask that we've been wearing and it's been on for so long. It feels like me. It feels like the real you, but it's not. And if we begin to look at that in New Thought, we would say that life is happening for us, no matter what it looks like. So that allows us to then change the way we look at things. For example, anxiety or fear, that, it has a purpose. There's a reason, there's a starting point from which we begin to alter this idea that I'm perfect, whole, and complete. I have everything I need. So life is sufficient. Life is happening for me, right? It reminds me of that movie, the cartoon movie Inside Out, where that bad part of sadness, it kept ruining everything. And why you got to bring us down? And so sadness finally left, but they realized when you took sadness away, you took other opportunities away. And that it's okay to have sadness depending on how you look at it. But what about anger? Like, this starts early in life. Early in life, somewhere we learn that we can't control things, or that the only way I can be heard is to get loud, get angry, be seen. Okay. Or If you're a people pleaser, right? And I work with a lot of my students on this because they come from such a chaotic home that, again, they're adapting. They want to feel accepted. So they're just going to make everybody happy and keep the peace, so to speak. Right? Well, let's just begin with step one. There's only love. No matter what it looks like in our own experience, it's only love, but we forgot its original purpose. And we call it bad. And how can we then turn bad to good? You can't from the outside in. It's an inside out job, right? We know in Science of Mind and New Thought that we say that life and is ever expressing to a deeper, fuller experience, right? And then, so therefore, even these distorted feelings and viewpoints that we have about ourselves and others, it's still where we're at, right? So it goes back to that everyone's doing the best they can with what they have and where they're at, right? And so we have to just recognize that, I don't love myself as much as I could, but do I love myself more than I did yesterday, right? And one of the anchoring quotes that I like to, and I'm going to share it with you, for me, that I go back to, just anchors me. And I don't have it. I don't have it. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Here it is. I'm going to share it with you. Ernest Holmes says, there is a presence within us that forever knows itself to be perfect. That's it. So take that in. Just close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath in. And just receive these words. There is a presence within us that forever knows itself to be perfect. There is a presence within you that knows itself as perfect. What does that mean? That it's lacking nothing. It recognizes itself as just being perfect. And this presence can never be hurt, damaged, in any way, shape, or form. But we can hold the perception that it can, right? So in other words, there's no bad parts because there's never been a bad self. Take that in, right? There's what we can call maybe bad beliefs. In essence, the beliefs are not of truth, and we just believe they are. But when we allow that to pull our resistance back, then the truth shall be seen. It's think of it like someone holding a frightened puppy, right? The puppy is scared, and like we just want to go in, and we're people pleasing, like, oh, how you doing? And it tries to bite you, right? And we don't say, hopefully, like, oh, what a bad dog, right? Because we recognize it's in fear, right? But we can't go, oh, and we contemplate with compassion and love, what happened? What's going on? Because that changes the question. And maybe as a practice, we need to do this more with ourselves. Right? Instead of asking ourselves, like, oh, what is wrong with me? Because as soon as we say that, like, what's wrong with me? I don't feel perfect. I feel separate. I feel outcast. I feel lacking, right? But what if I change the question to, what is happening within me? This thing, so let's call it fear, anxiety. Like, what is going on within me that this comes up and feels the need to protect me? So now we entertain this idea that, okay, this is here for a reason, that it's happening for me, to help me in some way. And the answer may not be instant, my friends. It doesn't always work that way. Okay? But sit with it. Know, open yourself to that. This is happening for me. I recently watched on YouTube, it was a short video, and it was beautiful. And I watched it a few times to make sure that it wasn't AI. And so it was at a shelter, an animal shelter. And there was this terrified little kitten. And there was a dog. And the dog recognized this little kitten and wanted to come up and be compassionate and loving towards it. And at first, the kitten just lashed out and then would scurry back in its corner. And the dog didn't quit, and just it gave it its space, right? Just like we need to give ourselves space. and it would come back. And again, the kitten just reacted out of fear, out of survival instinct, right? And it finally just kind of worked its way in, and the cat, would fight back and forth, and eventually just sat there. The dog did, just sat next to it. And even though the kitten's hissing every now and then, it would try to scratch it. It just sat there, didn't react to it at all, just sat there. And then the dog laid down next to it, just laying. And eventually, and it was a few hours that went by, but eventually the kitten, literally realized that, oh, this is love. This is real. I don't have to protect myself anymore. And in science of mind, it's important to remember that where we put our attention, energy flows. So that also means, though, the other adaptation of that is what we resist persists. So the more we fight something, the more we hold it in our attention, the more it stays and grounds into our experience. So love helps us alter that experience. Love softens, relaxes the experience in our mind to allow itself to be known. Remember, going back to Ernest Holmes, we're not creating anything. And by healing, what we're really doing is revealing the truth, right? When we feel safe, that opens the door to transformation. And it's about kind of like being that older, nurturing dog to that younger part of ourselves that feels this need to protect ourselves, is to just be there in presence long enough to let all the non-truths fade away, right? And so when we just kind of begin, what do we do with all this, Joe? Well, take a bad part in mind and learn to, the first step is acceptance, that yes, I have this anger inside. Now notice there's a big difference between saying, I have this anger, I feel this anger, than saying I am angry. Remember, anything we say I am, we are fully saying that is me. But I can feel angry. I can feel anxiety, depression, sadness, separate, lonely. I can feel these things. So the next step is to recognize it and then accept it. Now, a lot of us would say, well, I don't want to accept something that is bad, right? But that's the flip here, is we're not saying it's right or it's something that we want to stay forever, but we're recognizing it so that in essence we can heal it. What does that mean? It means we can reveal the truth in it. We can say that I see the divine in this. What are we trying to protect? And usually it's some outdated belief system that we feel we need to be protected. And again, this isn't like we just go, I feel scared and I'm going to create this rule and that rule in my head to block out love. We're doing this unconsciously. And a lot of this, especially as young children, we pick up and learn through others. So we may not have even had a certain experience, but I watched somebody else go through trauma, protect themselves. So I learned to do that. So then here's this thing. We accept it. And by recognizing it and opening ourselves to a greater understanding of it, then we can allow it to be seen for what it is. And we can literally go and recognize and say, you know what, I don't need you anymore. I recognize you were helping me at one point, but I'm good now. Right? You're not bad. I'm just good. Right? So the goal isn't to eliminate the bad part, and to outcast it. It's to love it. And by loving it, it will feel accepted and feel the recognition that, oh, we are safe. What happens when we're safe? Transformation. Right? I was going to walk us through a guided experience for about 5 minutes, but I'm recognizing the time. So here's what I'm going to offer is, if you join us in the conversation afterwards, then I'd like to do this, and we'll have a little more time to do it so I don't feel rushed. But it's a guided exercise to work with a part of us that we feel is bad, outcast, something that we want to bring love into the situation to reveal its spiritual truth, its spiritual magnificence, right? So take that in for a moment. Just breathe in, because this idea of masks, and we're doing this all the time, and I will coming from a place of pure honesty. There's so many times where, especially like, again, I had a lot of trauma through middle school and through a lot of school, but middle school is probably the worst. And, I've done my shadow work on it, and I go back and I realize, oh, well, if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't be who I am today. And that's not, initially it was probably what we would call spiritual bypassing, meaning like, oh yeah, everything's good. And then I did the deeper work, and I remember feeling that version of me and the fear. But keep in mind, we are forever evolving. So even if you've worked with something in the past, if you're still feeling it, and by feeling it, mean emotion, right? If you have this negative emotion towards an event in your past, it has anchored itself, and therefore it is anchoring you to experiencing a greater level of freedom, joy, love being expressed and received in your life. And so my point is that I realize there's times where I have to go back and reevaluate. What is it? What are the bad parts? What am I calling bad within me? And then catching myself using that term, or terms likewise. I feel like, I hate that about myself. Oof, that word. It's just so powerful and not in the way that we want it to be. So I guess this idea of feeling like we need to do this to be whole, and by this I mean to work all this out to be whole. I mean, if you can bypass it by simply practicing that you are already whole, I guess I believe these things would naturally go. But it's also nice to realize I've anchored this in pretty deeply, and so I just need to revisit it. And you don't have to do this alone. We are a very practical faith in philosophy, and as Bill said earlier, and invited every one of you to practice in prayer. And prayer isn't, look, we're not praying. Practitioners, spiritual coaches, this is pretty kind of how they operate. What they know to be true is truth. And what do I mean by that? When you go to a practitioner or a coach and say, here's what I'm experiencing, and it's going to be something you don't want, we are trained to recognize and come from a place that you are already whole, and that there's only one mind. That mind is God, the universe, source is mind. That was a mistake. I made that. It is God itself. And so there's only one mind. I have individual use of it. What I'm recognizing is that we're all using of the same mind. And so when you give me permission to pray with you, what I am going to, in essence, at your subconscious level, remind you and know and state the truth that there are no problems. And if you're experiencing something, it's probably for growth, to recognize that you anchored something in a long time ago and to grow from it. That's it. There's no shame. There's no guilt. And technically, we believe we don't do this because we often believe it's going to be painful. But what I have found in my life is, if there is any pain, the joy of releasing it, and not just going, oh, it's gone, yay. No, but truly cutting that anchor. You feel the movement, not just in the minute, in the moment, but in your life, right? And it's crazy because I was thinking about, when I was doing this talk, that I think humans are the only ones who don't recognize like what a masterpiece we are of that which created us, of the all. I don't like, unless they're maybe super domesticated, animals, they just know who and what they are. The plants, they just thrive. They just, this is what I am, and let me be this in full. Boom. And we have this, it's a blessing, this mind. And so, again, in closing, I want to just remind us that we are coming from wholeness. We are not creating wholeness. We are revealing wholeness, right? And these parts that we have outcast, they're just waiting for love and acceptance, which comes through compassion. And again, if you're having issues doing this yourself, then please reach out to a spiritual coach or practitioner. So again, it's a practical application. So I want you this week to practice this. When you recognize a part of you that is outcast or that you hate, shift it from this idea that it's bad and it's something that needs to be cut out to accepting it. Say something like, I thank you for protecting me. I see you, right? And then the next step is to receive, right? Say some after that, I see you. And then I would say, I allow myself to see to reveal the wholeness in you, to reveal the divine in you. It kind of goes back to the namaste word. Namaste is the God in me honors and recognizes the God in you. It's the same God. It's just we're recognizing ourselves of being the whole. And when we do this with love, right, it makes it a whole lot easier. Because again, wholeness isn't the destination. Love isn't the destination. It's our nature. All right. So once again, I want you now to look at this question again, right? What would my life look like if I honored and loved all of my parts, even those I don't like? And again, stay with us in the conversation afterwards, and we'll go through an exercise to work through this. All right. So with our weekly affirmation, what are we affirming? I am affirming that I lovingly embrace every part of myself. I am whole, worthy, and complete, just as I am, right here, right now. Does that anchor that in, that perfection? I lovingly embrace every part of myself. I am whole, I am worthy, I am complete, just as I am, right here, right now. So as I go into prayer, I'm going to close my eyes and just anchor into that wholeness. What is the wholeness? The wholeness is of just recognizing, maybe if you're new to this teaching, that it's all happening at the same time in the energy of unconditional love. There is nothing that is outside of this unconditional love. And if I do not recognize this unconditional love in any spot, then I realize that there's a process I can do, changing the way I look at it, that it will reveal its wholeness to me. But first, I recognize this perfection as all there is, this unconditional love as all there is, and therefore that I am that. Again, there is nothing outside of it. So I am of this. I am the awareness of this unconditional love being expressed in this thing that I call life, reality. I am grateful to have this truth, this knowledge. And as I am true with myself and recognize parts of my life that maybe I look back and I look with shame or guilt, or I learned to let this go. I learned that I was doing the best I could at that time. I learned that the best thing I could do is to learn from it, grow from it, and be better. And this I can do. I know this truth for myself. I know this truth for everyone listening right here, right now, for it is the truth. That we are having this experience. We are spiritual beings having a human existence, having a human experience of feeling less than perfect, of feeling less than whole, of feeling bad and things like that. Yet all of these are opportunities for us to reveal what is, I'm going to use the word hiding behind, but it's not hiding. It's just waiting patiently to be recognized. So what I know is peace is here now. Love, unconditional love is here now. Joy is here now. And I choose to be and experience that. And I know that each one listening to my voice now and whenever it is does the same. To open ourselves, to know that we are the divine in expression, lacking nothing. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Joe. That was an excellent talk.
Thank you.
I think I recognized that wholeness is something that you can never add something to create wholeness. Wholeness is almost always a subtraction problem. You have to take away that judgment and take away the things that keep you from seeing the wholeness that's already there. So, yeah.
Right. And if we were only in ever wholeness, then would we know wholeness?
Wouldn't have a clue.
Right.
Yeah,
So
right.
maybe that's like why we go through what we go through, to realize the blessings that we are and what we have.
Yeah.
Good point.
Absolutely. Yeah. All
Thank
right. And Reverend Joe is in the background, but I'm looking forward to his exercise at our 12 o'clock Zoom meeting, which I think the next slide is about the 12 o'clock Zoom meeting, isn't it? Nope. Abundant prosperity, which is just as good. So there's a lot of ways that our community supports our center, and one of the ways we do that is through Zelle. I find Zelle to be very very easy. You can also give online or by mail. Either of those three are acceptable and very much appreciated. And when we do that, we recognize and we affirm the source of that abundance with the following offering affirmation. I am overflowing with love and abundance. I give from the source of my being, which is rich and unlimited. With joy and excitement, I share from this overflow. In return, the universe gives back to me in infinite ways, channels, and means. And so it is. All right. Just a reminder that next Sunday, we will be live and in person, and Reverend Joe will be back talking about who I am reflects how I am. And then on, on the a week later, the 19th, that 9 looks a little funny. It's online, and it is about what we believe about wholeness. And again, it is Reverend Joe for that one as well. All right. Now I think Tony's going to call us all back on the screen, and we'll have our closing video.
Each and every morning.
Each and every moment, I remember who I am. I show up uniquely in the world in the way that only I can. I keep my thoughts clear, I create my own day. I know that there is power in every word I say. I show up, I glow up with every word I speak. I take it day by day and do it all again next week. I am abundant, I am free, I am love, I am me, I am joy, I am the light of the sun. I know who I am, and then we are one.
Thank you. See you next week in person.
Have a good week, everybody.
Namaste.
Happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday.